headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create real amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. So, Rachel, if people are coming late to the party, last week we did announce that we have a new studio sponsor, Pods Moving and Storage, to which people might say, why?
Yeah.
Would Pods Moving and Storage be on the Ramsey Show?
Want to be on the Ramsey Show?
Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to be on the Ramsey Show? But
that's the question.
But everybody would. But why would we allow someone to be here that we announce and broadcast for and promote? It's a wonderful company, and the people that are in leadership is one of the things we always look at when we're doing an endorsement, because if bad people are in leadership, eventually the company's going to turn bad, and so we don't want to put our name on them. So these are people that we've known, and the CMO, the team there is absolutely incredible, but that's not enough. It would need to bring value to Pods, and it would need to bring value to you, the listener, to put a little moving truck thing up behind Rachel's head there. And so,
look at that.
Had one of those out in the parking lot, a full-size one.
Pods container.
Yep. I got to stand in it, got my picture made. It was good. It's a lot of fun. 23 million people move in the U.S. each year. 1 in 5 Ramsey listeners tell us they plan to move this year. And Pods is a way to do it efficiently. They will set the pod on your driveway, leave it there as long as you need them to, pick it up. And when they pick it up with a Podzilla, so it's picked up level. They don't tilt it and all your stuff slide to the back and crash into each other and break everything. They pick it up level, set it on there. If your closing on your new house didn't go right or something and you need to store it for a little while, you can. Now, if you do that with a regular moving company, they're going to unpack the truck and put it in storage and then repack the truck, and the cost is unbelievable. So lots of flexibility with these guys. It's an economical way to do the move. You control the speed of the move, and we are proud to have they've had 6 million moves now at Pods. It's not a small company.
Well, they've grown a lot, and I feel like I see them everywhere.
Yeah, they are everywhere. And they've done a great job with their marketing, but their service is incredible.
Yep.
We got to meet the local guy that's one of the drivers. The drivers that bring the pod to your house and pick them up are employees. They're not contract. So they work for the team, and they take great care for that Podzilla to operate properly. And Will from Antioch, just over the hill over here, brought hours over here. We got to meet him, and he had a great Financial Peace University story. He'd been through FPU. So good stuff, and it's a good way to do this. So we're excited to have Pods as the new sponsor for the studio. You'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks and days as we let you know more and more things about it, but it's a good thing. Kevin starts off this hour in Nashville. Hey, Kevin, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Mr. Ramsey.
Hey, what's up?
So, 23 years old, and ever since I was about 17, I've been sports betting, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And I'm in GA now, and I see a therapist, and nothing really seems to work. And I'm just feeling really, really defeated and hopeless. And I was just wondering if you had any wisdom you could share or advice.
I'm sorry, man. That's a hard thing.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, ever.
For people in America that don't understand, the second fastest growing addiction in North America today is not cocaine or fentanyl or prescription drugs or alcohol. It is gambling online. Fastest growing addiction. Second fastest growing addiction. First is porn. And we deal with these numbers because we deal with people's lives that are broken around their finances all the time due to this kind of stuff. So we've talked to, over 30 years, a whole lot of people where Kevin is. Kevin, I'm not an addictions expert by any stretch. You know that, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right. So how long have you been going to GA?
About 3 months, and I've known that I should have been going a lot longer, but
past is the past. You learned that in GA. All we're worried about is tomorrow's a new day, right?
Yeah.
One baby step at a time, right? And so are you making all your meetings? Are you going?
Yep, I go twice a week at 2 different locations. So, and I also see a therapist that specializes in it. But for some reason, it's just so hard, even with all of these things in place. So,
Oh no, it's not going to be easy. It is very hard. That's why we call it an addiction and not a problem, right?
yeah.
If it was a problem, you could work through it. It's an addiction, and so it's got its claws deep into your soul, and you're having to pry them out a little bit at a time. So, is your therapist moving the needle?
Definitely improvements. I mean, like I said, I've been gambling for 5 years, and I will go, a few days or a week or two now, which if you told me a year ago that could happen, I would say it's impossible. I just haven't been able to fully kick it, like you said, just the nature of addiction, I guess. But I have.
Well, it is the nature of it, but we have to obviously write a new script for the future, which is part of why you're calling. So what is the environment in which are you online, FanDuel or whatever?
Yeah, so it's online, and I have, casinos close by that take bets and bookies, and it's like, everywhere I look, I could gamble. That's just how it feels. So.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
And I'm tired of, so I work for the government, and I have a college degree, and I make $70,000 a year. And that just makes me feel even more worthless because no one my age should be struggling. I should be, doing the baby steps. And here I am just fueling a betting account with every paycheck. And, that's just like the worst part of it all.
Are you in debt, Kevin, because of the addiction?
Yes, thankfully not too much, but I have about $5,000 worth of credit card debt because just recently they let you just put it on a credit card now. You don't even.
Okay, in the last 2 weeks, where did you place your bets?
All online.
Okay. So what do we do to cut that source off?
Yeah, so I've excluded myself from like the ones that are like legalized, like like FanDuel and stuff like that, but. The issue for me is just that there's 1,000 just online offshore, places you can bet.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
how
do we turn your computer off? Is what I'm asking.
Or your phone?
Yeah,
is it your phone?
I guess stripping me of electronics might actually.
Well, I mean, for a while, I'd be okay with that because if you're drunk, you can't hang out in a bar, right?
Yeah, you're right. And like I said, it's not only affected me financially, it's every relationship I have and my work. It's just, I just feel so defeated.
Yeah. And usually, Kevin, what we find too is that the addiction is a symptom. And so dealing with that symptom is really important, like what Dave is saying. But also, hopefully your therapist is getting to the point of understanding what's motivating that, like wanting that high, what that is giving you is for a reason. And so doing that personal work and digging in to those things, which I hope your therapist is doing, to get to the root cause is huge.
I'd also plug into a celebration recovery class in a local church and get plugged in and start walking this on the spiritual angle as well. That'd be my next thing. Man, I wish I could be more help. I'm not an expert, but we'll pray for you and cry with you. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Guys, we really value the input from people who watch and listen to The Ramsey Show. It helps us know what's important to you so we can deliver the right content that will help you with the questions and challenges you have right now. One way you can share your thoughts with us is by answering a few questions in a new survey we just launched, and you can check it out at RamseySolutions.com/survey. Takes just a few minutes, and you'll be in the running for a $500 Visa gift card that someone that takes the survey will win. RamseySolutions.com/survey. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Let's circle back, Rachel. Neither you nor I know enough about addictions. Wish John Deloney was here today, but to speak intelligently into it, there's a few things we do know from having worked with addicts over the years. One is you do need to plug into a group, and GA, he called it, but it's Gamblers Anonymous is what that stands for. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, but for gamblers, is incredible. Celebrate Recovery is an incredible ministry with a Christian, purely Christian perspective, and plugging into a good church is a wonderful group and process to plug into, and certainly the one-on-one therapist, which is what he's doing, is there. In GA, you need a strong, or in Celebrate Recovery, either one, a strong sponsor. And the sponsor is the person who is going to love you when you fall down, but they're also going to kick your butt and hold you accountable and talk you off the ledge, so to speak, metaphorically. And, that having those people in your life matters. And then what you said before we went into the break is vital, that you dig into the root cause. Because the gambling is the drinking, the gambling, the cocaine use, the whatever the surface addiction is, there's always something under it that's causing it, and that is always a mental health thing. It's a childhood thing. It's a spiritual thing, and it may be all of those.
Yeah.
It probably is all of those. And so, as people of faith, we also have watched our lives be transformed by our faith walk and by plugging into a good church and setting up a new group of friends that weren't the old friends. I mean, you can't run around with your drinking buddies anymore if you got a drinking problem. And so if Kevin's running around with a bunch of guys that are still running FanDuel every day and all they're talking about is football, and their fantasy league, and they're betting on this and they're betting on that and so forth, and you got to change your environment as well, and then set something up. Take the stuff off, the apps off your phone, or set the phone down for a period of time, or whatever it is you're using to access that. You've got to reset those things, but that won't work. Eventually, you'll find your way back to it if you don't get down under the root and find it, and really dig into that. And that's anytime any of us go through, and we all do, a transformation at the character level, at the spiritual level, it's painful.
Yes. People
do it to get out of debt. They do it in their marriages. They do it recovering from their childhoods. But it's painful. There's no pain quite like emotional pain.
Mm-hmm. But it's necessary for the change, because there is something too that, and again, I wish John was here, sitting here, because he's like the licensed therapist. But too, I'm like, to the spiritual side, which we both have the same faith walk. There's a point in our human condition that, like, when there's a little bit of that surrender of like, I can't just keep pulling myself up by my bootstraps over and over. Like, there has to be a transformation that occurs. And I think when you can pinpoint that, whether it's on a spiritual side, but also the emotional side, right? Like, what are the things going on? Where's like the anger, the hurt, the things in your life that could be part of the thing that's triggering this? What are events in your life that have shaped who you are? That you kind of go back to these places of habit that you don't even realize for protective strategies. I mean, like, we are just complex people. And I feel like more and more we uncover that, and money ends up being a symptom for so much of that. That's why here on the Ramsey Show, like, we talk about this stuff a lot, not just addiction, but the heart issues of what's going on. And our money is a tool in life that ends up being affected because of it. But it can be a dark, really hard spot. But I do just want to applaud Kevin for even calling and asking the question, because you could hear it in his voice.
Let me tell you this, Kevin. I will tell you that I've seen a lot of people be successful.
Yes.
In walking away from this. We see a lot of success. There's other things that are even harder to break. I know this is hard. I'm not diminishing this, but I mean, meth and heroin are just dadgum. The percentages are very low that you get out of that alive. But gambling, people can walk away from. Porn, they can walk away from. They, with help and with treatment and engaging in the process. And it is a spiritual walk. It's popping in my head, so I'm just going to say it. Max Lucado's new book, Help Is Here. He was on yesterday talking about it. And it's about the Holy Spirit and the power of the Holy Spirit. And Kevin, I'm going to recommend that to you. And another one is Hind's Feet in High Places. That is a very interesting read when you're in the soup. And you're fighting out of the soup right now. And we're here for you, man. You call. We'll talk to you anytime. We love you. And we're not going to pull any punches with you. We're going to tell you the truth. But you're not alone. We're going to walk with you. But also, we're not going to tell you that we have all the answers, because we certainly don't. Thank you for the call, though. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Patrick is with us in Montgomery, Alabama. Except I pushed the wrong button. Now I did. Patrick's in Montgomery, Alabama. Hey, Patrick, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Ramsey?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, so quick background. We have about 40 acres and a cabin in North Carolina, and my grandmother had owned it since the 60s. After she passed away, she gave it to my mother to take care of. She's been the sole caretaker for the last 30-something years, and she's getting up in age, and so she's thinking about trying to, figure the plan for the way ahead. And the only concern I have is she's thinking about splitting up the control over herself, trickled down to me and my little brother, and then her 3 sisters. Now, with her having taken care of it for the last 30-something years, there hasn't been really any arguments whenever something comes up that needs to be done or taken care of, because she's been the single point of failure, and then everything's taken care of or resolved.
Does she own it with her sisters?
No, it is all in my mother's name.
Okay, so why does she feel obligated to drag them into this mess?
Well, do you know anything about the temperament? Orange, gold, green, and blue?
Yeah.
Okay, well, she's a hardcore blue.
Okay.
And so what she wants to do is, that whole family piece and, getting everybody happy. I think she feels like if she puts it all in me or on me, that potentially somebody's feelings would get hurt.
Yeah, well, but she's mistaken.
Exactly.
She's pretty much guaranteeing with this ridiculous idea that some feelings are going to be hurt all the time.
Yeah.
And you're stuck to each other.
And,
so I would tell her, Mom, listen, I don't want in. I'll opt out. This is a bad idea, Mom. I love you, and I appreciate what you're trying to accomplish. The way you're doing it, I don't agree with. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't want to be stuck in it.
See, and everything's paid off. And
doesn't matter.
My wife and I, we follow.
Doesn't matter.
My wife and
it's always been paid off.
Baby steps. Yeah, it's taken care of, and she's got a little. I don't know if you want to call it a trust, but she's got something set up. She said, "Don't worry, everything's taken care of for 5 years after I pass."
That's not the problem.
That's not the problem. Yeah.
If you see a snake, kill the snake. Don't appoint a committee on snakes.
Exactly. Because what I want to do is try and set it up so that there's like a BBRO or whatever it is, so that basically it acts as a profit and it can cover the fees and cover all the expenses and nobody has to worry about it. She said, well, that'll have to happen after the sisters pass away because I don't think they want to deal with that. I'm like, well, that's not really their call.
Yeah. Or it is their call because I'm opting out. So, just tell Mom, no thanks. Not going to play. This is a barrel of fish hooks. Don't want to stick my hand in it. Going to get stuck.
Yep.
Sorry. Love you, Mom. Don't love the cabin. Don't love your sisters.
Her sweetheart, though.
Oh, she's sweet. She's a golden retriever. Everybody needs to be happy. And if they're not happy, I'm going to be stressed. And I'm sorry, but you're going to be stressed because they're not all going to be happy. It's part of life. Oh, it's painful. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, May is with us. Hi, May. How are you?
Good.
Good. Where do you live?
San Diego.
Wow. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
How much debt did you pay off?
$79,500.
$79,000?
Yes.
Okay, so
Wow.
I'm going to round that and call it 80. Well done. All right.
Thank you.
And how long did this take you?
33 months.
33 months. And your range of income during those 33 months?
Well, I started at 57 and ended up at 115.
Whoa. Nice jump in income. What do you do for a living?
I moved to San Diego.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse.
Okay. All right. And so you were a nurse before, but you just got a better gig.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Very cool. Good for you. So what was the 80,000? Student loans?
Mostly 64 student loans. I had a car debt, credit cards, and, normal.
You were just kind of normal. Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32. All right. Where were you living before San Diego?
Tampa.
And what made you go to San Diego?
I became a travel nurse.
Oh, you're a
and
travel nurse. Oh, that
I
could...
used to. I started as a travel nurse, and then I ended up getting a job there.
Okay. Good. So how did you get connected to this Ramsey stuff, the Ramsey way?
Well, in 2018, I bought a house, and this guy came over to my house to show me the new appliances because they had just built it. And he started talking to me about how great I was doing financially. And I just thought to myself, like, that is so not true, but sure. And so he started talking about Ramsey, and I started to listen to the show. And then I woke up one day realizing how bad of a financial situation I was in. And so I just thought that my only option was to travel because my income wasn't enough to even come close to pay for the debt. I couldn't afford this house. The only way I was in it was because my parents were living in it and they were paying some of the mortgage. And so I became a travel nurse, and I got a job in San Diego, and I started paying off debt. And when the pandemic hit, I was like, this is my opportunity because now I don't have to pay interest. And so it kind of sped up the journey, and here we are. I'm so excited.
May, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible. I think it's always impressive when people just say, hey, on their own, they're like, you know what? I'm gonna do something different. I'm actually going to change what I've been doing, and I'm going to look at money completely differently. Okay, so how does it feel?
Well, it seems easy because I got a raise, but it was actually really hard because that was the biggest factor, but also the hardest factor, because I think that what helped me the most was getting away from the people I was hanging out with, because everybody wanted to spend and travel because that's what we nurses do. And so once I left Florida and I was pretty much starting on my own, I lost my support group at the same time. And so then the pandemic hit. I was an ICU nurse, and it was really stressful. I was there by myself. I just wanted to go home and just go back to my family and forget this paying debt stuff. But I met my fiance now, and he was so supportive. All of the outings he had to support financially. And so,
That's amazing.
And still in the middle of all that, the word you used a while ago was that COVID was an opportunity.
It was an opportunity, but a challenge at the same time.
Yeah.
It was
They
good
usually
and
are.
bad.
Yeah. Those two, they usually go together. Yeah.
Yes.
Two sides to the same coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It was, but I mean it's interesting that when you're scraping and grinding and hustling towards a goal, that something comes up, you can see it as an opportunity, but otherwise you wouldn't see it as that. You just see it as a
I would have been like, well, I can.
So you
just
sold
put
the
this
house in
loans
Florida,
off.
I take it?
I did.
Good.
I sold it, even though my parents didn't agree. I said,
Yeah, so they had to move.
They did.
Oh, where did they move?
They rented an apartment.
Okay.
Because
So
obviously
they survived your transition then.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And
that had to be a little bit of a conflict in the air, a little scary conversation. I mean, you threw your parents out. That's hard.
kind of.
Well, it's hard. I mean, it is. It was a grown-up girl decision. I applaud you for it. But a lot of people would really, really, really not do that, and they should. You should have done exactly what you did. But,
well, I thought I
wow.
was helping them at the same time because I felt like once I did this, they would see that this is possible, and so that was my thought. My sister paid off her student loans, and my brother's also on the journey.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I feel like. This is why I did this.
Yes.
Well, you've inspired the whole family then.
Yes.
Way to go. Good for you. That's very, very cool.
That's amazing. Okay, so what would you say to someone in their early 30s that's just been living paycheck to paycheck? They may have a great income, but they're like, this is just what it is. Like, these student loans are always going to be around. You're always going to have a car payment. What would you say to someone that thinks, oh, I can't do what May did? No, that sounds so hard. I don't think that's possible.
Well, I think the whole baby step concept is the trick because, like, you have to, even because my brother's in the same situation, he just doesn't make as much of an income as I do, but he has his $1,000 emergency fund and he pays however little he can pay, and he's actually trying to work on improving or increasing his income, and so you just do what you can do, and then the rest, you just get by with it.
Keep pushing through. Just keep pushing through.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you did it.
great.
33 months.
Yes.
How's it feel to be free?
Well, what I feel like what I earned out of this was freedom. It was the freedom to make choices, because now I can make choices that I couldn't make before. Like, I ultimately want to in the future have my own business, and I feel like I would have never had even the thought of having that opportunity if I would still be in $80,000 of loans.
Yeah.
So
Exactly right. Exactly right. It is choices, because what you do is you give up your choices. That's why the Bible says the borrower is slave to the lender. You surrender your choices when you owe all these people. And the good news is you broke free. Well done.
Congratulations,
Proud of you, kiddo.
May.
Good work. Very, very good work. Hey, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That is the next chapter in your story, how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth, how you can too. We fully expect you to be a millionaire. That's the next chapter for you.
Thank you.
And we'll give you a copy of this in Financial Peace University, a 1-year membership.
Thank you
and you
so
need
much.
either use that or you can give it away. Same thing with the Total Money Makeover book we're going to give you. So you can use it or give it away, whatever you want to do. We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
Who was your biggest cheerleaders?
My siblings were my biggest cheerleaders, because they would always be like, oh, I want to buy this. They'll be like, is that on the budget? I'm like, no. No, but yeah.
Accountability partners too.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Awesome.
good. Hey, you got the whole family working on it. You shifted you caused an earthquake, girl. It's very, very well done. Very well
Thank
done.
you.
All right, May from San Diego, $80,000 paid off in 33 months, making 57 to 115. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free.
Pretty incredible. Wow.
It's awesome.
Fabulously done.
Everyone's stories and situations, they're all different, right? And they all have glimpses of these moments that you're like, oh, that's just amazing, amazing, amazing. But even just like, I know she's engaged right now, but even just as a single person, you're like, well, I'm going to do it. At least when you're married and you're on the same team, you have each other to like.
Well, and she was lonely and scared at some point through that process, she said.
Yes. I mean, that was a hard road, a hard 33 months. And so, I mean, she can just say to herself, like, the pride of, I did that. Like, I did that. And I did the impossible of what people would say is impossible. And it's incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
She changed everything with that at 33 years old. Moved all the way across the country. I mean, from Tampa to San Diego, that's about as far a stretch as you can make right there. And
worked at a hard time medically during COVID as an ICU nurse. But that's hard.
It always is interesting to me that, the old saying Einstein said, he said, I have plenty of luck, but it usually comes dressed in overalls and looks like work clothes. And it's interesting to me that when you're in the middle of scratching and clawing for something, that she sees COVID as an opportunity. Wow. I mean, if I was in the medical field and at some points in COVID, I probably would not have seen it as an opportunity, but it was. It was a valid opportunity.
A hard one.
Yeah.
Hard one. But
Thank goodness we got people like her out there.
I know. Such incredible stuff.
This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. We appreciate you guys being with us. Our condolences to the royal family as the Queen has passed. And very sad. 70 years, 13 presidents she entertained. Quite a...
well, she took the throne so early in life.
Yeah,
and,
quite a lady, obviously.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the amazing number of movies, books, everything else about her, about the whole process, pretty wild. But sad for the British people, sad for the world. It's a loss. So you sent me this silly thing this morning, and I watched it, and it's just like, oh my God, these people.
Okay.
So what is this from?
Okay, so there's a thing called Instagram, if you're unaware, and it's my social media of choice. I don't really do Twitter. I don't really do Facebook. I do love Instagram.
I look at Instagram.
Okay, so I'm in my stuff. So people will send me clips that are on Instagram, from like funny stuff to, even their own journeys, all of it. And I see a lot of it because I do try to go through it. So this one clip has been sent to me, I'm not kidding, probably 10 times from 10 random people over the world that are just like, can you believe this guy? Can you, this. And I kept seeing it come up. And so I clicked on it. I was like, oh man, number one, it's terrible advice. I think it came originally, maybe it was a TikTok video, but it's an Instagram reel of how we saw it.
It looks like a TikTok video.
And because everyone's a financial expert on social media today, right? And with investing,
especially
they all know what they're going to do and how you make money quick and all this stuff. You got to do all this stuff. So anyway, so here's a video. It's a father-daughter, which you'll see.
And I just thought,
well, here's a father-daughter. And I don't want to harp on them.
Yes,
I want to harp on the situation.
I do.
I know you do. Okay, let's play the Instagram reel.
This is my daughter, Maddie. We're at a car dealership right now, and she's about to buy her first car. Tell me how you're buying your first car.
This morning, I went to the bank. I got my first car loan. I qualified for $15,000.
At what interest rate?
3.5%. With the money that I have saved up, I have $7,000 in cash. I'm going to invest that into an Airbnb property and get 14% interest back, so that way I can use that money to pay off my car loan. So basically, kind of getting a car for free.
Wait, Maddie, can you explain that one more time, a little more simply?
Yeah, so it cost me 3 cents to borrow $1 from the bank, and then I go and take that dollar, not my dollar, and I give it to someone for 14 cents. And then so 14 minus 3, 11, so I keep the difference in the middle.
Wait, what's that called?
Arbitrage.
Boom! You buy assets that then cash flow and pay for your stuff.
I mean, he's so proud.
Well, he's so slimy.
There's a few things.
You need to take a shower after watching that guy.
Oh my gosh.
It just drips in arrogance.
Well, there's a lot of things about this. Number one, I really don't feel like you can get an interest rate. I don't think you can get a loan. How old was she then?
She's 15. She cannot get a bank loan.
No, so he co-signed, which probably helped get a lower interest rate. And then, what I don't understand is the $11,000 in an Airbnb property.
You can't buy an Airbnb property for $11,000 either. You could invest in it with a bunch of partners into an Airbnb property, and
But
that's
what she would-
assuming the Airbnb property stays rented and the local city council doesn't pass a law against Airbnbs, in which case your little butt would be broke at 15 years old because your father's a moron. Oh, my God. Was I unclear?
No. I was like, we're not going to harp on the people. We're going to harp on the idea.
Too late.
But speak to the notion, though, because that stuff is everywhere that you get. You borrow this, you take that percentage and that difference, and you go get that asset, and then in this and that. And you play this game.
Full disclosure, I had you on stage at 15 years old. Okay, so
what a slimy.
So full disclosure.
That is true. You would be
I have
selling
done
your
the
kids'
difference
books
is the difference
on
is the
stage.
advice that we were giving was not so bad, and we were not as slimy or condescending. I don't think. Oh my God, it's called arbitrage. Okay, which is Greek for I'm stupid. Oh my God. Oh.
Okay, but talk about that notion though, because
It's the set of assumptions you have to go through for all that crap to be true are absolutely ludicrous. No. Okay, number one, you have never met a millionaire. We studied 10,167 of them. 0 of them, precisely 0, said I borrowed money on my car and arbitraged it into being a millionaire. 0 real millionaires do that. 0. None. I borrowed money on my car and put $11,000 into an Airbnb when I was 15 with all of my business acumen on display because she didn't even know what the interest rate was. Go back and watch the clip again. She's, and they had to edit it. And what was it? Oh, 3.5. Well, tell him again, Matt. Tell him again, darling, what you did. Oh, she doesn't even know what she did. She really didn't. She was a little parrot. So, number one. But the whole concept of I'm going to borrow money on assets. Listen, you doober. Cars go down in value. Yes, you can call them an asset if you want, but they're not much of an asset. And if you leverage your car to get rich, you might never get there. This is dumb.
Because mathematically that's true, but also the spirit behind it.
Well, mathematically, you are not measuring risk, and you're making a set of assumptions that a 13-year-old, 15-year-old can borrow money at 3.5%. They can't. You can't contract unless you're a legal adult, and borrowing money is a contract in any state in the United States. Okay? That's why a kid can't have a mutual fund. You have to have a custodial account. That's why a kid can't have a savings account or a checking account. You have to have a parent on there as a custodian because kids can't contract. They can't buy beer and they can't borrow money from a car dealer. God. So now then once you've done all that though, let's just pretend you weren't a kid and you went and really borrowed money at 3.5%. Here's the thing. You have to follow factual causation. Find people who have actually done your theory. Find me one who 15 years later, using that type of system, is a millionaire or greater. You can't find them because they're not there. They're not there.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Let me ask you this question. Because there's this thing that is floating around in the culture. There really is, though. It's
called stupidity.
I know. Let me just present the stupidity, and then you can debunk it because you're really great at that right now. Okay. That if you just like want to kind of be like, yeah, maybe you can just like you can have some wealth, and you just that's what investing does, and it's more. But if you really want to become like super wealthy, you have to be in real. You have to do these things, these jump through hoops, and you're doing math that most people can't grasp and understand because you're playing the game. I mean, this is a perfect example. Like the way he's.
It's called arbitrage.
The way he's explaining it makes it feel like, there's something I'm missing.
It's a big word.
And in order to build wealth and to become rich, there's other systems that I don't know about that can cause me to become rich.
Yeah.
And is there a level of that, though?
30 years ago when I came on the air, the secrets of the rich were out there then. Everybody's got a book, the 7 Secrets to Getting Rich. Here's the problem. It's not a secret. There's not a magic sauce. There's not a magic sauce. McDonald's special sauce is basically Thousand Island. There is no special sauce, okay? There's not any. It's it. I mean, you got to live on less than you make. You have to invest steadily over a long period of time. And there is no I learned a new word and that made me wealthy. If maybe compound interest would be close, okay? But compound interest works over time, with time, and consistency. So maybe that's a new word for him, and he learns that word, and that's a good word. But the people that say they're looking for a shortcut.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
And they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They know things because they're on TikTok, and they know. Oh God, shoot me. I'm having trouble finding intelligent life on TikTok. We're gonna have to get on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok. That's not on my phone. I can't.
I don't want it on my phone, but I guess we're gonna have to put content on there to just mess with this toxic culture.
We're putting money out there. We're putting money out there, or advice out there, but
killing me.
It's happening.
This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. We just launched a brand new audience survey for the Ramsey Show, and we'd love your feedback. You could be entered to win a $500 Visa gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at ramseysolutions.com/survey. From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they actually love, and create real, amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So, Rachel, your smiling face is overlooking Times Square. Digital billboards.
Oh, I had no clue where you're going with that. I was like, what is my smiling face doing? Yes, someone texted us a picture.
Amazon Music has a series of digital billboards across the side of 2 buildings. It's massive in Times Square. There's lots of huge digital billboards in Times Square, and we're working with Amazon Music to carry this podcast. Now, I think everyone carries the podcast that possibly carries a podcast that we know of anyway. We appreciate them carrying it, and they were nice enough to feature the Ramsey Show with a picture of you and Dr. John Deloney and me, and you worked too hard to be this broke. And line on there. And so a little Times Square advertisement for the Ramsey Show brought to you by the fine folks at Amazon Music. And you can also find this show there. So thank you guys for that. Pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, one of our guys was up there doing something on the team and took pictures of video of the actual thing, because it stays up there like 4 seconds and then literally, and then comes back around every 16 seconds or so.
Yeah.
It's like 4 different panels they use on them. But in that environment, it's pretty wild. The
amount of eyeballs too that can see it, which is awesome, of people that you may not have reached unless people hanging out in Times Square. So it's awesome.
There you go. Hope we can help. That's what we're here for. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Raul is with us in Phoenix. Hey, Raul. Golly, I cannot push the right button today. There we go. Raul is with us. Hey, Raul, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, thank you for taking my call, and thank you for all of you guys, what you do there. It inspired me a lot, and I'm sure it inspired so many other listeners too.
Thank you. Very nice.
Quick background. I'm 30 years old. I have a master's, and I graduated from the doctorate degree a couple months ago. Moved to Phoenix, Arizona, because I find a job here. So my question is, my compensation for the first year is $180K, and then from starting next year, it would be ranging between $20 to $50K bonus on my base salary. So,
way to go, dude! You're killing it.
Thank you. I graduated from the debt free. So me and my wife worked throughout the school I did go, and paid off $180K of my school, and also paid off our car $30K. So we are completely debt free now.
Wow.
And was just wondering how do I start from here? How do I start investing, building wealth to have the good retirement?
Wow. What's your PhD in?
Pharmaceutical sciences.
Oh, okay. Good for you. What are you doing for a living?
I would be a project manager in one of the big companies. So.
Yeah, I thought so. Research, R&D. Yeah. Okay.
Man, well, I would take out a car loan and arbitrage, which is what I'm hearing. I'm just kidding, Raul. I'm just kidding. That was from another segment.
I'm a failure as a father.
That's the first thing I thought. Take out a car loan and invest in Airbnb. That's what I would do. No, really, though. You guys have done a fantastic job. I mean, you're definitely one of the success stories that because your income even rose, not your lifestyle, right? You guys did really well with the income you had to pay off your debt and to do the right things and to set you guys up so well, because now you will be able, to invest greatly. So we do recommend investing 15% of your income into retirement. And so things like your 401k or 403b, Roth IRA, and keeping that steady investing for the long term, and that's your 15%. And then do you guys have kids?
Yes, I have 2-year-old.
Okay. And so looking at college for your 3-year-old and looking ahead and saying, okay, we want to save up for their college, and with your income, that's going to, you'll have definitely the margin to be able to do that.
Is your wife working outside the home, sir?
No, not now.
Okay, so you'll be able to max out your 401k. I assume they offer a Roth 401k and some match, correct?
They offer 401k up to 7%.
Really? You mean a match up to 7%?
Yeah, match up to 7%.
Yeah,
yes.
but you can put the max of your 401k in there, $22,000.
Okay.
And so you put all that in, and then you get all the match. Do it all in a Roth 401k in good growth stock mutual funds. We spread it across 4 types: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. Fund your kids' college fund. Each of you can do backdoor Roths. You're going to make too much money to do a regular Roth, but you can do what's called a backdoor Roth. Get with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com that's in your area. They'll sit down and teach you how to start these basic investing things going. And that's your first step to investing. Your next step is get the house paid off. And once that's paid off, then you can decide what the surplus you've got beyond those things. And you will have surplus because your income is going to continue to go up. You're obviously an unusually bright guy, very smart. And so you're going to end up making amazing amounts of money and always be enjoying some of it, giving some of it, and investing some of it. Always enjoy it, give it, and invest it. And I would put percentages on that. I just gave you percentages on minimums to get started on your investing side, but make sure that your lifestyle is not ridiculously low if you make $250,000 a year. It doesn't need to be, but make sure you're not consuming it all with your lifestyle, and make sure you're not investing everything and having no generosity in your family. So we want to have all 3 things functioning. The people that we find that have high quality happiness coefficients. We find happy, well-balanced, mentally healthy people with good relationships that are wealthy. And there's lots of them. They're everywhere. But the people that we find that fall in those categories are always generous. They always have a reasonable level of enjoyment, not over-enjoying it, not hedonistic. And they always are steadily investing. They're always doing those 3 categories. And you and I taught that just to teach your own kids. In Smart Money, Smart Kids, you're first number 1.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's the basics of all 3. And here's what's fascinating, too. You know, people really do think if I could just make more money, everything will be okay, right? And the habits that you have carry on with you. And speaking of social media and Instagram, there's this account that she does these budgets. People submit their income and their budgets for the month, and she shows them on the account. Anyways, long story short, this couple makes like $3 million a year. It's like 70, 80, 90 a month. And they spend it all. They have like $1,200 left over. It's like $4,000 on clothes. They have a full-time, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. You can still spend your way into stupidity regardless of your income. So those 3 principles are so important. They're so important to give, save, and spend.
Congress has proven that for years. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Have you ever noticed when you commit to one change in one area of your life that you tend to make progress in other areas? We've met thousands of people on their journey to building wealth who accomplished other amazing things along the way, like they lost 50 pounds, they found a career that they loved, their income went up, they overcome stress and anxiety and depression. What seems impossible becomes possible when you have a smart plan and you turn up the focus and intensity on your goals. That's why we're bringing the SMART Conference to Dallas, Texas, Saturday, October 22nd. SMART Conference is the one-day event where you're going to hear from the top thought leaders and authors in every subject, from marriage. Yep, our friends, Pastor Craig Groeschel and his wife Amy will be with us to speak on marriage. We'll be talking about mental health. Dr. John Deloney will be with us doing that. We'll be talking about careers and getting the job and you love and passion and in your work. And man, Ken Coleman will be talking about that. Our newest personality that's on the stage this year is George Camel, and man, is he a hot property. People are loving George and everything he's saying. He's going to be talking about money. Rachel Cruz, to my right, will be there, best-selling author, talking about money, and I'll close up the day talking about your life and how we put it all together with a sense of intentionality and your spiritual walk. Yeah, all about God. So you're going to love this. It's called the SMART Conference. It's all day long. When you leave, you will be smarter. And it's a whole $35 because the VIP and Platinum are all sold out, so general admission's all there is. Again, October 22nd in Dallas, Texas. It is the only live event we have for the fall that has any tickets left. So if you want to come, Dallas, Texas, this is your place right now. RamseySolutions.com/events to find out about all of our events, especially the SMART Conference on October the 22nd. Maria is with us. Maria is in Houston, Texas. Hi, Maria. How are you?
Hi, it's a privilege to speak with you.
You too.
Thank you. I am debating between selling my home and refinancing my home. I'm on baby step 2. I recently got divorced, and so I have to give him a third of the proceeds of the sale. I have spoken to a real estate agent, actually one of your ELP referrals, and also a credit union. And I have a daughter in high school. She's a senior. So selling my home would mean putting her through college debt-free. And I do have a place to go to with my sister. She recently widowed. So I do have a place. And the reason for refinancing is because I don't plan to be with my sister long term. So if I go live with my sister, it would be just to save for a new home in the future. And I don't know if it makes sense to sell the home when I'm going to come back in 2-5 years to buy a new home.
Yeah. What do you owe on it?
I only owe $15,000.
$15,000. Oh my.
Yes. Yeah.
And you owe. And what is it worth?
$225.
Okay, so you owe him like 65 or 70,000 bucks, huh?
Correct.
And what do you make?
I make 66 a year. That's gross.
How long were you married?
Over 20 years, but it was about, it's a good thing that I got divorced.
Yeah,
So
I understand. But there's a lot of bad memories in this home.
Yes, and at the same time, I do like the home.
You do like the home.
At the same time, it's a good home. I can see myself staying there. I could also see myself in a new home.
How old are you?
I am 47.
What do you do for a living?
I am a legal assistant.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the daughter you're talking about, Maria, is she your only child?
No, she's my youngest. I actually have 3.
Okay.
Is he responsible for part of her college too?
I have no communication with him, and I highly doubted that he would be able to participate.
Okay. So even if he was supposed to, he couldn't because he's
correct. Yeah. He would not be able to.
Because he's worthless.
Yes.
Okay.
Sadly, it took me so long to figure this out.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. You've been through hell. Oh, bless your heart.
Here's
what I would like you to do. Man, there's not a bad answer here, okay? It's not bad to sell the home, move in with your sister, send your kid to college, and come back and buy later. That's not the end of the world. If you didn't like the house, I would do that in a heartbeat. You like the house, and even me challenging you with negative memories, you could see yourself staying there. You only owe $15,000, so at the end of the story, you only owe $85,000 or so, or $80,000 to refinance. That's a very, very low mortgage, especially when you make $65,000 a year. And I'm going to refinance it and keep it.
Okay.
That leaves the daughter in a lurch for school, so we got to figure that out. Okay, so number one, she's going to select a school that's affordable because she's her mom's a single mom who doesn't have a lot of money. Okay, you're not sitting on $200,000 to send her to school with, so she's going to select an affordable in-state school. She's going to be working while she's in school to pay for parts of things. She needs to work on her grades. It's probably too late, but she needs to work on her grades and make sure she takes as many different things as she can take to get her grades up to help her get scholarships. And I want her to fill out 500 applications for scholarships. It's not an exaggeration.
Working on that.
Not an exaggeration. 500. Because all she's got to do is get a few, and she can go to University of Houston. She can go. If I remember, ATM has you got one in Houston, right? I got some Aggies sitting out here in the lobby. Yeah. So there's a Aggies they got a branch there in Houston. It's probably not called Aggies. They're probably called something else there. But yeah. So we got to get her through school, but as far as the house goes, I would keep the house because you got a very, very low mortgage. I don't know, Rachel, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, my question is, Maria, do you, did you raise all 3 kids in this house? Like, is the house for space-wise, do you need all the space? Like, I don't know how big the house is for you and what it is and if you enjoy it and all that. Because, I mean, another option would be to sell it. Obviously you'll have money to help daughter go through school, which is great. Live with your sister for a while you guys both have been through something really hard. Having someone there, that's great. And then finding something that is reasonable for you now that all your kids are, you're an empty nester now. So that would be the only way to look at it on the other end of the coin is to say, okay, here could be a fresh start in that sense. But I mean, it's a great asset to have. And like Dave said, your mortgage is going to be low and there's a way to go to school debt free. I don't want you to make a huge financial decision like a house decision based on 4 years of education for your daughter because there's options for her. But yeah, if you were like, oh, get me out of this house, I don't like it, then that's one thing. But,
I'd sell it. Yeah.
But if you're kind of okay with it and what it would do, yeah.
If you had told me you had a $200,000 mortgage, I'd tell you sell it. Because you'd be rid of the problem and the stress of that. But a $15,000 mortgage and you got to go get 70 or 65 to take him out. Yeah, I'm doing that. And by the way, do that at your local credit union. You don't need a mortgage. They're too expensive when it's small like that. Just go to your local credit union and tell them a couple things. Number one, you want no closing costs because you got a huge equity, so they don't need to charge closing costs. Number two, you want a fixed rate. You won't do it unless it's a fixed rate, and you won't do it unless it's no closing costs. Talk to credit unions until you find those two things, and you can get a better deal that way on this loan. A loan that size, a mortgage company is not a bargain. It's a small loan for them, and they're going to stick you with a bunch of fees usually, so don't do that. Wow. I'm sorry you've been through this. I hear a lot of pain in this, but I'm glad you're there, and I'm glad you're free. This is The Ramsey Show. I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Brian is with us. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve, sir. Honored to have you. Where do you live?
Oklahoma City.
All right. Welcome to Nashville. Very cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. So, how much debt did you pay off?
$47,785.
Very good. How long did that take?
24 months and 1 week.
All right.
Nice.
Love it. And your range of income during that 2 years?
So 45, and towards the end it bumped up to about 60, and that's my what I was netting and between all of my sources of income.
Side hustles.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What do you do for a living?
I'm a systems analyst for a private company that supports the Air Force in Oklahoma City right now, and I also do some DoorDash, and I started my own small business within the last year.
What was the most lucrative, best paying side hustle?
Let's see. Lucrative, I would say, based on just not only the financial, but also the professional development, would be the business that I started with in the last year. I would say with the encouragement of your platform, as well as just kind of hearing everyone on this very stage, it just gave me the courage to even try something like that.
Yeah, cool.
What was the business?
So I own just a small IT company, kind of catering to 1 to 10 seats. So just residential, small businesses, just doing consulting and kind of your general computer repair and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
If you work from home and you discovered that IT department is no longer there for you.
Enter Brian.
Here is Brian. Yeah, good. That's a great idea, man. I love it. Good for you. That's fun. Very, very cool. Okay, what kind of debt was the $48,000?
Wow. Sorry. It's very exciting to be here. Thank you again for having me.
We're honored to have you.
So a lot of it was credit card. I played the 0% APR juggling game. I thought I was a genius with money, even though I knew absolutely nothing. I also a little bit of student loans, so maybe about 5 to 10K tied to a couple of semesters, and then embarrassing to admit, but it's an honest part of my story. I was on Social Security disability for a short period of time and had some overpayment that needed to be paid back, so that was taken care of. And I also, in my early 20s, got sued for not having the right insurance coverage, and that was a fun mess that I decided in good faith to clean up while going through this whole program, and that was basically the amount of debt that I had 2 years ago. I've been in debt pretty much my whole life, so thank you again, you guys.
Well, thank you. You did it. I'm proud of you. How's it feel to be free?
Fantastic. Looking back to some of your videos, talking about the leverage that people do and don't have over us when we're in that type of predicament, not being in that position anymore is really liberating, to say the least.
That we hear that all the time. And it is amazing when you're like, okay, it's just a car payment. It's no big deal. And Toyota owns a part of your life month after month after month. I mean, there is something just to be said, whether it's MasterCard, your student loan, whatever, just to be completely free. So what happened then 24 months ago that you were like, okay,
so my best friend, who I've known for, I would say, forever, it's been about 10, 12, 13 years. She's like a sister. Her family is my family, essentially, and she's here in the studio with us. Her name is Lori. She just kept gently bumping my head with the Total Money Makeover, and she's always been the most financially responsible person that I kind of knew of that was close to me.
Gently hit you in the head with a book.
Metaphorically, but it had the same effect. So I was tired. I've heard this term before. I was tired of having my pants down. Whether it was dating outside of my social class or it was getting exposed to job opportunities that were being pushed down because of all of the pressure that was on my back because of not taking care of my own financial responsibility. I just got tired of all of the doors being closed. And so I read the book. I basically started looking through the class literature. I was too cheap to pay for every dollar, so I actually realized that there wasn't a prerequisite to become a coordinator, so I just dove in and taught it to myself and started spinning up some of those classes. And I went crazy. I was listening to your podcast every day, doing like Amazon shopping and a variety of other things. And every single day I was making money, and maybe 3 to 6 months into living actually in Massachusetts, I was living about 25 miles northeast of Boston. COVID, the last individual that was on the stage, it was very inspiring. I could relate to COVID being an opportunity. When all of that stuff closed down and I was working remotely, I thought to myself, you know what, I love Massachusetts, but I'm not an owner. I don't own anything here. Find some population density in a place I've never been before that cost a lot less. And I did a blind move to Oklahoma City, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without you guys.
Wow.
So it cut into that last little category that was becoming just a thorn in my side. And, I've been there ever since, and it's been life-changing.
Well, praise God, man, you're amazing.
You've had
I'm
a lot of
proud
life
you.
change,
Yeah,
moving and
you.
everything. I mean, that's a lot.
There's a lot of transformation going on with you. You're a neat guy. Well done, sir. Well done. Very, very proud of you. Very proud of you. Good work. Wow. Okay, you've been a coordinator. Albeit for selfish reasons, but it's still a good coordinator. That's how the best ones start, by the way. And I can go through for free. Yeah. That's it. I get a lot of good ones that way. But thank you for leading the classes. You've been a coordinator. You've been through it yourself. You've been gently bumped in the head with a book. And you paid off $48,000 in 24 months in 1 week. You are by far an expert on getting out of debt in America today. What is the secret to getting out of debt?
So it's not going to sound gentle, but there are two things. Stop complaining and basically just gain some clarity on who you're spending time with. Responsibility can and definitely will be somewhat contagious, and not that other people are responsible for your decisions, but basically just make sure that your goals align with the people that you surround yourself by. Those would be my biggest recommendations. And don't get me wrong, I complain every single day, so I'm in no place to judge other individuals that do it, but it does slow down the process of just opening that door, making a few extra bucks, and just pushing forward.
Yeah, wow. Well, good for you, man.
That's a great piece of advice, though, the attitude through it, right? Because the budget's a great tool. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that adds up in this process that helps people become debt-free.
Yeah.
But that overarching thread of just your attitude of how you're looking at it can either make the process somewhat bearable of like, we're going to do this, or the whole time it's just like, oh, I can't believe. Right? And your whole life then becomes that. And so I love that it's your attitude of saying, hey, yeah, it sucks. And yeah, I may complain every now and then because it's not fun. But what I tell myself and the thoughts that I have really do change your actions. So that's amazing. I love that.
It's your perspective. Discipline for discipline's sake, silly. But discipline to get to a greater good, it gives you the right perspective, the right attitude.
So what are you going to do now, Brian? Now that you're debt-free, you have no payments.
Let's see. I mean, I have about 5 to 10 years to make my first $1 million. Aside from that, I don't really have any plans.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Sounds like a good one. I'll go with that one. Good work. Hey, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you to help you do that. How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth. How you can too. It's my latest #1. Another membership to Financial Peace University. Maybe you can find someone who's too cheap or unable to buy it, and you can give it away to somebody that needs the help. And we'll give you a copy of Total Money Makeover so you can bump someone in the head with it. That'll be great. And I'm honored by that. Thank you, Lori. Well done. Well played. It's good to have friends like you. Yeah, good stuff, man. That's very, very good. Proud of you, brother. Very proud of you. Excellent job. Brian from Oklahoma City, $48,000 paid off in 24 months in 1 week, making $45 to $60. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free.
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's how it's done, boys and girls.
So good.
Last 2 debt-free screams, singles.
That's right. Same with him. Yes.
Singles.
I love it.
Singles. I like it.
Because it takes that extra level of perseverance when you're like, okay.
I mean, yeah, when you haven't got anybody to gripe at you, but you don't have anybody to gripe at you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's harder. So very cool. Very well done. It takes an extra level of backbone to do it when you're single, I think. But people do it all the time. And we see people from everywhere, all across America, every shape, size, and background, baby boy, baby girl. This is how it works. Thanks for being with us, America. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality. My daughter is my co-host today. Your calls at 888-825-5225. Michelle is in Baltimore. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good. How can we help?
Actually, I'm not fine. I'm debt-free, but I'm stressed out. I'm struggling. I have my emergency fund, and so I thought I was going to be excited and feel all of this peace instead of stress. I'm struggling to save 15% of my income in a Roth retirement fund, plus tithe, and try to save for anything, a house, a car, anything else. So I must be doing something wrong. I'm still doing a written budget, the same thing I did to get out of debt and save money, working a part-time job also.
You mean, you said save for a house or a car? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, anything. By the time I try to do 15% of my income plus tithe, it's not much left over unless I'm, for the rest of my life, I just working a part-time job.
What's your household income?
I thought it was a lot, 92.
92, is that what you said, Michelle?
Yeah, 92,000.
Yeah.
And I did the Smart Vesta Pro, and I was all excited, and we did the 15%, and when my check came, I was like, whoa, I can't pay the bills.
What is your, you got a rental or a house payment? Are you a renter? Or
I'm doing renting, $1,500 in rent.
Okay.
which is cheap for this area, and I hope it stays that way.
Mm-hmm.
You getting a big tax refund every year?
Unfortunately, not.
Are you paying a lot
no.
for health care insurance?
I am.
What are you paying?
I'm paying about. It just went up to about 3 per check. I also have 2 kids.
3 what per check?
3. I'm sorry, 300.
You get paid how often?
Every 2 weeks.
$600 a month is not bad. Okay, all right. Okay, so you got 18,000 and 12,000, and that's 30,000, and your taxes would be 15 probably. That's 45. That leaves you 45. I don't know where all your money's going because your rent is $18,000 a year. 15% is $12,000 a year, $13,000 a year of your $90,000. Your health insurance is not out of control.
$1,500.
Yeah, $1,500 is $18,000 a year.
Right. BG, my electricity, $115.
Yeah.
Internet, $75.
Yeah.
Tithe would be $768.
Yeah.
Food, down to $300. Trying to do that. Cell phone, gas, and that, yeah. And so and when I did the 15%, and if I want to save to eventually buy a house, not able to make that happen.
15% would be just a little over $1,000 a month.
Right. So it's about 5 out of each check, 5 something out of each check.
Yeah, that's about right.
$530, I think. It was $530 out of each check.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And my cars were 2012. I'm cutting my own hair.
Yeah, I mean you're throwing about a lot of emotional triggers, but I'm still not finding all your money. I'm cutting my own hair. I don't eat. All this stuff, but all of that has to do with your emotional state. It doesn't have to do with the actual math. And the actual math, I still got room in. I still got about $3,000 a month laying around there, miscellaneous. I mean, you're using up some of it with basic stuff. I get that. And I might have to sit down and do the whole budget to see it. But right now, what I usually do in these calls when I'm talking to someone in this situation, Michelle, is I'm looking for the offender mathematically.
Okay.
What is offending? What's sucking up all the money so that Michelle has none and has worry instead? And I'm looking for that offender. It's not your rent. It's not out of control. It's not the 15%. That's not out of control. It's not the, your water, your gas. That stuff's not out of control. You're not overspending on food. That's not out of control. I don't hear anything in here that's like way over the top. Your health care cost is not out of control. It's $600 a month. In today's world, that's cheap with 2 kids. Maybe it's daycare. Maybe your daycare is super expensive. Or maybe you got the kids in a private school. I don't know. But what I'm looking for here I just take $92,000 and I take taxes out and I take $1,500 a month out for rent, which is $18,000, and I take $13,000 out for the 15%. And when I start taking that out, I still got a lot of money left as I go along this line here, and I'm having trouble finding it. So, I tell you, let's do this. It sounds like that you're not going to fix this situation with cutting your own hair. That's not what this is about. Or not eating, cutting your food budget down. That's not what this is about. You need to get to the root of where your money's going and get more comfortable with the balance of that. Now, you're not going to save $5,000 a month towards a house when you're putting in this situation. You don't have that kind of income. And so you may put your 401k on, you may put your retirement on hold for a little while you save for a house or save for a car. If you get in a pinch on something, that's stuff we teach called baby step 3B. But I'm going to put you on hold and we're going to give you a free coaching session with one of our financial coaches who can get into this in more detail than we can on a radio call, because this is not the format for me to go any deeper into the numbers.
Yeah, and I would want to know too, Michelle, you're on baby step 4, 5, and 6, which is amazing. But where that extra margin of not having the debt, not focusing all your time on saving up an emergency fund. So where all that money that was going to those things, where is it now? How much were you putting away a month towards your emergency fund through baby step 3? Where is that going? And I think it's a hard realization too. That doesn't necessarily help you, Michelle, but I can empathize with just the fact that like life's expensive. And once you do it all right, once you give, once you pay your rent, once you're funding retirement, I mean,
your tithe is $9,000.
It does chip away on what feels like, okay, $92,000, like that's a great income. And then the reality of life, though. I mean, there is a reality that when you do all of this stuff, it does dwindle. I mean, it does dwindle. And so I would kind of figure out, what the big things in your life are, which we didn't get to on this call, but whether it is a child care situation or I don't know what it may be. But to kind of find that so that you're not stressed or that you can like really see the extra money and get some kind of traction. But I agree that, that is a defeating feeling when you feel like you should be feeling good and you're not.
Raising 2 kids in Baltimore as a single mom on 92 is still no picnic even when you're debt free.
That's right.
It's fair to say that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to be a hot knife through butter and like suddenly you're going to feel like you hit the lotto or something and you got $20 million because you don't. That's fair. But is it so defeating that you can't go win still over time? No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And, and I don't hear a single thing in here that so far that I would jump on and go, oh, you got to stop that. That's what, there it is. That's the thing. And that's what I'm always looking for because there's usually something like that in there.
Yeah.
There's still there's a big old car payment and you got rid of all your debt. Or there's something like that. There's something in there that's causing
hundreds of dollars.
Causing the log jam. And it's not here. It may just be that, inflation is catching up and is affecting her because she didn't have a lot of margin to start with. And but it may be too that you have to put your baby step 4 on hold to save towards a house for 2 or 3 years. We talk about doing that in baby step 3B, and we're not mad at you for doing that. I don't want you to use this as an excuse to never save for retirement.
Yeah,
I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You can afford it. It means you can't afford something else, but you can afford it. So, and I'll bet you had more than $1,000 a month in payments on the other stuff before you got rid of them.
That's what I want to kind of figure out. Where was that money going? Where is that going now?
I bet you did. And somehow you figured out a way to make that and to get rid of that debt.
Yeah.
So
You're doing great,
it's a really good question.
It's a journey.
It's a really good question. And thanks for joining us. Hang on. We'll help you with a coach, okay? This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. We just launched a brand new audience survey for The Ramsey Show, and we'd love your feedback. You could be entered to win a $500 Visa gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey. From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jennifer starts off this hour in Philadelphia. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Rachel. How are you guys?
Great. How can we help?
So my husband and I are on baby step 2, and I'm looking at the 7 baby steps, and I had a question about baby step 5, not to jump ahead, but my daughter is 27, and I just found out about you, in my defense, in March. So she has student debt, about $70,000, because Mom didn't pay for it. I had a different perspective prior to listening to you. So my question is, when I get to baby step 5, should I help her pay off her student debt, or is it now her responsibility because mom didn't help sooner? Although I did give her $15,000 with my husband's help on her room and rent.
I don't know if I've ever had this question before. It's an interesting perspective, though, because usually it's the 27-year-old that calls us and says, I'm debt free. I paid off $70,000 in student loan debt. Because technically, it's her debt that she took on. Yes. Was the guidance from you unknowing helping her into that situation of debt? Yes. But to a point, I'm like, it was her that did it, though. Do you know what I'm saying? It was her that got the education.
But I signed off on some of those loans with her because, again, I had a totally different perspective.
Sure,
I wish
totally.
I had totally.
I mean, are you a co-signer now? Is that what you're saying?
No, she's so responsible.
Okay.
She refinanced.
So you didn't sign off on anything then?
Well, I did, but then she refinanced.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she has $70,000 in student loan debt. What is her degree in?
She is a nurse. She has BSN.
Okay. And is she single?
She is.
What does she make?
Between $80,000 and $85,000, more than mom.
Okay. You are a sweet lady. You do not owe this money. You do not owe this money.
Okay.
Your daughter is legally, morally, and capable of handling this.
Okay.
And mathematically capable of handling it. It's not you didn't harm her. You didn't set out with malice you didn't benefit from this in some way. This is not money you stole that was your daughter's from her trust fund. This is not anything like that. She simply went in student. I mean, no, you're not you're not liable. And I want to set you free. And I got a feeling your daughter doesn't think you're liable.
She doesn't. She actually is okay because her and I have talked about it. She's okay with paying it. Yeah. But I'm like, I
understand.
According to
you
these
feel
steps,
guilt.
I should have saved for her.
Yeah, you're a sweet lady. You're very sweet.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's just you have a good heart and a strong conscience, and that's a good thing. So if you were worth $20 million or $5 million or something like that, and you wanted to take $70,000 and write a check and pay it off, that would be fine. You're not in that situation. And if you did do that, it would not be a baby step 5 thing anyway. It would be a baby step 7 thing.
Right.
It would just be, I'm helping my kids because I'm rich.
I'm not there yet.
Well, you'll be there. You'll be there someday, but she'll be out of debt by the time you're there. So,
that's true story.
Yeah, and she's okay. You have not harmed her for life. She is not permanently scarred. She's not under some kind of burden she can't recover from. You have not destroyed her. She's fine. She's going to get her debts paid off, and I tell you what, let's let her go through Financial Peace University, and Rachel and I will pay for it. We'll give it to you, okay?
Oh wow, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, sign her up and send her through that, and just tell her that we're cheering for her.
Yeah, because Jennifer, too, we when we talk to families on the baby steps, we tell them that, like, hey, if you're on baby step, 5 and your kid is a senior in high school and you don't have the money, college is not an entitlement. And you are not a bad parent for not helping fund college. There are ways to go to school debt-free. Now, I understand that this is the back end of that conversation of you maybe encouraging the student loans or telling it's not a big deal, all of that. So I get that guilt, but you have to let that go, Jennifer. I mean, I think that, Pete, we've had 2 calls on this stage with people that had student loans, and a nurse, literally in the first segment, and she worked her way out. So it is mathematically possible for your daughter to become
enough, she paid off $80,000 when she was 33 years old.
Yeah.
So it's very, very close.
That's
very
right.
close, and it was a nurse.
So it's doable, but I think, again, your heart behind it, Jennifer, is awesome, and I think that there could be a great goal because you wanting to, quote unquote, fix that mistake that maybe you helped guide her in. Maybe you make a goal for yourself, and baby step 7, I want to take my daughter and we're going to go on a great vacation, and I want to pay for it and enjoy it, and make that a goal for baby step 7. You can still do stuff to bless her and to love her, but you are not obligated, nor are you in a position yet to feel like you have to cover that $70,000 that's in her name.
Exactly. And but it is nice to talk to people with honor and that have a conscience.
And that feel the responsibility as a parent too, right? Because it's
nice.
that feeling
That's
of
good.
like, man, I messed that one up and I want to go and repair that. So that's a very honest feeling. But the position you're in, Jennifer, I would keep going along and she's going to be okay.
Yep. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you're here. We appreciate you being with us. The evils of the student loan debacle continue. And the documentary Borrowed Future is heating up again. Its popularity is randomly, organically rising with the Biden administration's token offer to prop up the midterms with a student loan sort of, kind of, maybe, probably not forgiveness. So I heard another stat on this today.
All right, give it to me.
So my friend Stephen Mansfield, who hates student loans as much as I do and spends a lot of time in Washington coaching and working with legislators, senators, congressmen from both sides of the aisle. His podcast, I was listening to it today that came out just a couple of weeks ago. He made an interesting observation. He says that they have absolutely no intention of forgiving the student loans. It's a complete political move. And he never does this because he's always level-headed academic type, right? And he said the reason we know this is that zero work has been done at the administrative level in the Department of Education, on any of the websites, at studentaid.gov. None of them knew this was coming. You got 30 million people you've got to serve with this program, and you've done absolutely zero
technical side even,
preparation on the technical or the staffing that's going to be required, the number of people, and it's all got to hit by the end of the year. And they've done zero. Translation, they're not really going to do it. That was an interesting prediction. It was all political. He says just to prop up the midterms. This is the Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. We have created the best way to do your daily goal setting and motivation. It is a modification of a product that we did with Christy Wright that was vastly popular, and Rachel is doing the unboxing as we speak. So I just learned that unboxing is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently opening a box on Instagram is a big thing.
Gotta hop over to Instagram. Lots
wow,
of
look at this.
there.
And so the Ramsey Goal Planner is here, at least the first copy. We will start taking orders this week, and it will be with you for 2023. We'll actually ship them in October. It is larger in format and thus thinner because we had people ask us to not make it so chunky. The other one was more like a brick, right?
I guess so. I don't really remember.
Remember, it was smaller and thicker.
Yeah.
But this has got the, a month at a glance, and then it's got daily
this
goals.
Is someone's personal.
And somebody wrote in it. I don't know whose it is, but yeah.
I saw Mom's birthday. I was like, oh no.
But in each, at the beginning of each, there's an article by Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, or George Camel, and they'll challenge you to work on your financial, your relational, your spiritual goals all through the year.
Yep.
And set your goals and get things going. It begins in. It's a beautiful, beautiful.
The
item.
design is gorgeous.
The design is good. It's actually very practical, very usable for your calendar and for tracking your spiritual goals, your financial goals, everything else. You can walk all the way through this. And, man, I got to tell you, this thing has been very, very popular. We've sold out of them every year, and every year we've tweaked them and iterated, I guess is a better word, and made them better. So it's pretty cool. They're $49.99, and they're available for pre-sale now. They will ship out in October, the Ramsey Goal Planner. Good job, Rachel.
Well, I love it because you get the month at a glance that you're able, and then
a week and then a week on 2 pages.
Yeah, and then some teaching, whether it's on spirituality, relational, financial, and then you got your per week, so a week at a glance. So it's, there's not tons of stuff. I mean, it's good teaching and everything, but yet it's practical. Because for me, when I look at my calendar, I'm like, I just need simple. Like if I'm getting this is what I need. So it's a mix of everything.
Get to the point
you want on a planner, and that's what it is. So it's awesome, and it's beautiful. There's like gold.
Yeah,
foil.
Good.
Do you see that?
It's a good design.
You see that
good
shine?
Work. Good
see
work,
that
y'all.
shine?
Shiny.
So
Connor is on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions with a question. Hey, Connor, what's up?
Hey, how are you today?
Great, man. How can we help?
I work for a family-owned business. My family's been in business for 33 years. My dad is about ready to retire next year, and that would put my wife and I in the position of taking over the company. I guess my question for you is, what steps should I take to prepare for that transition, and what steps have the two of you taken to prepare for that eventual transition here at Ramsey?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so you're in the business currently? Yeah. How many team members are with you guys?
About 30 full-time.
Okay. What do y'all do? What's the business?
Catering.
Okay, awesome. That's so great.
Does the team see this coming?
Yes.
Okay, so they know. That's good. I was going to say, number one is just communication.
Do they think you can do it, or do they think you're incompetent?
They think I can do it.
Okay, good. It's important.
Connor, you can't do it.
I didn't ask him if he could do it, if he was competent. I was just asking if they thought he was.
I know.
That's a different thing.
That's true.
Different thing.
That's true. I mean, yeah, Dave could probably speak to more of the logistical, financial, legal, I don't know, all of that. But I think just from a team perspective, I would, if I were you, because it's going to be here in the next, 12 months? So I would start leading more and more and more and having him. The slower the transition out, the easier it is. When it's just whiplash, even if everyone knows it's happening and it's just like, day one, here you are, Connor, and he's gone. It's just so quick. If there's a gradual transition you guys can do with responsibility and leading the team seeing you slowly, month after month, being more and more visible, more and more in it, taking more and more responsibility, leading more and more. So that way, when a year happens, when that transition happens, it feels like, oh yeah, Connor was basically doing it anyways. And it's an easier transition on everyone when it's gradual versus really fast.
And the key customers as well. They need to know.
Oh, that's true too. Your key accounts that you guys, if you guys have consistent accounts.
You and your dad need to be hanging out with them together. Okay. And then your dad doesn't need to go. You need to go.
Okay.
And that kind of stuff, back and forth, so that they kind of have that, oh, no big deal, because this is the way it's kind of been all year, and it didn't kill us when, And so, in a sense, you're watching that here. Okay, we went from the Dave Ramsey Show to the Ramsey Show about a year and a half ago. And we went to co-hosts on the air about 2.5 years ago. And that's been part of a decade-long plan to gradually even transfer the brand so that you folks, our listeners, begin to trust these guys because they're trustworthy. When I'm not here, two of the Ramsey personalities are sitting here, and some of you like it better, which is fine. That's good, because there's someday I'm not going to be here. I'm the oldest one of the bunch. So
okay, let me ask this question between you and your dad: did he start this business?
Yes.
Okay, so we got the Gen 1.
How's he doing for turning over?
I know. I was like, emotionally, there is something when he's built this thing. Like he has grinded. He's put his
it's like sending
mind
your
to
kid
it.
off to college.
I mean, there's a lot of deep ownership because they're the ones that sacrificed, right? We had the benefit as second Gen 2, coming in and helping alongside and hopefully growing it even further. But there's a Gen 1 holding on emotionally that is very real, which I would totally understand. So how do you feel like he will do in a year when the transition occurs, or even in the next 12 months as you guys start to transition? Will he let go of the reins, do you think?
I think so. It's unfortunately, we're in a position where it's where he needs to retire. It's a health concern that's arisen. So that's the process there.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
So he's not got a choice.
Right.
Yeah, because what she's talking about, what happens is Gen 1 turning over to Gen 2, as we've studied family business transitions, and we've studied a bunch of them, is the most difficult one emotionally. It's actually the easiest one in some other ways, but because Gen 1, the founder, is always a hard head. Because that's what enables you to pull it off, right? You have to fight through the briars and the bushes and beat off the lizards and everything else to kill the dinosaurs, whatever it is you got to do to get it done, right? You got to get her done. And so then when you get ready to turn that over, And I did it as an act of intentionality. I started working on it 14 years ago. We started the first stages of our very, very, very gradual succession plan that will probably has another decade left in it, give or take. And so, but the first time I planned to be less important, and then it was kind of disturbing. It was a little emotionally shocking, and I did it on purpose. And I still went, oh, I don't know if I like this.
Okay, so how can a Rachel and a Connor, a Gen 2, help Gen 1? I'm not asking selfishly, I'm really asking for you, Connor. How can he best love his dad in this coming year?
Be outrageously competent. Be so good that he knows he's not screwed up by handing it to you. And it makes it easier to hand it. It's like if you're teaching a teenager to drive, how can you let them leave the house in a $30,000 automobile? I mean, it's a good car. And you're not worried about the kid. They're going to kill the car, right? And so, but how do you let them do that? Well, you've ridden with them so much that you've watched them drive and they're competent, and you've been able to mentor them, you've been able to talk to them about, you missed your blinker, and no, you can't look at your dadgum phone while you're driving, and, you've had these conversations, and you've mentored, and they've proven themselves competent so that when the brake lights are tapped as they leave the driveway, first time at 16 or 17 years old and drive away, you don't pass out on the floor with anxiety. You go, they're going to be okay. And your dad's the same way. You prove you can drive the car, and then when you drive off in the car, he's not going to be worried about you or the car.
And then here's another fascinating thing, Connor, which the stats because studying business, I don't have it in my head, family business, but there's a small percentage of success from Gen 1 to Gen 2 and even less from Gen 2 to Gen 3. Right. But the ones that do succeed, there was like attributes about those family businesses that you were like, that.
Had a higher calling, for one thing. You have to have a sense of calling on this. It can't be just a job, and it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just dad. It's even bigger than the company. We've got a big higher calling, and
we're serving these people with our catering business to help accomplish what they need, and we're here to help them. Right? Like you find that thing in there.
Sense of nobility.
That's big. Yep.
Sense of nobility in business, and there is a sense of nobility in business, but the people that have that have a higher chance of turning it over well.
Yep.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the Dad-Free stage. Jacob and Jenna are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Better than good, better than most, Dave.
Good. Good to have you guys. Where do you live?
We live in Indianapolis.
Oh, cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you guys paid off?
We paid off $106,154.91 in total.
Way to go.
Wow.
And how long did this take?
25 and a half months.
Wow, good for you. And your range of income during that 2 years?
We started the first year at $81,000 and then finished the second year at $126,000.
Wow, nice job. Good work. So, what do you do for a living?
I'm an athletic trainer in an outpatient setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I work as a manager in a warehouse.
Okay, very good. So why did your income go up so much?
I got a couple of promotions at work.
There you go. That's good.
Congratulations.
Just in time. Well done. What kind of debt was the $106,000?
100% student loans.
Whoa! Guyrilla, Navi, and Sally Mae.
Yes.
Gave the old woman her eviction notice.
Yep.
Yes.
What are your degrees in?
I have a bachelor's in athletic training.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated in chemical engineering.
All right. Very good. Very cool. So how long y'all been? I'm sorry?
Smart degrees.
Yes. Both of them are smart. So how long y'all been married?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, so about the time you get married, you say, game on, we're cleaning this up. How did all this go down? How did this conversation happen and this connection to the Ramsey way?
Yeah, so it really started my freshman year of college when the debt started accumulating. Really, she only had $3,500. I had the rest, so sorry.
Married into it.
Yeah. And shout out.
$103,000? You thought he was worth that?
Yeah, I think so.
She stuck with me since the 8th grade, so, I mean, we're going to be...
Yeah, we're 8th grade sweethearts.
Yeah, you kind of knew what you were getting into then.
Yeah,
I did.
I'll give a shout out to my freshman roommate, Logan Urbanski, who introduced myself to your principals, but I didn't really listen to him. Obviously, I was a failed student there, but we got married in June of 2020, a COVID wedding.
Oh, wow.
We moved up to Indianapolis. She started working. I still had a class left for my degree. I wasn't working, and she said, hey, if we're going to be really doing this, get your butt to work, please. And
Let's do
I
this
graduated college. I
Please.
followed Ken Coleman's principles. I was working in a warehouse as an associate, and then graduated with an engineering degree, but they had a management role for new hires for college, and got there and got a couple promotions.
Wow, just like that. Boom, boom. So
Good for you guys.
Ken Coleman helped here.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Okay, so you're newlyweds. Start this journey where most people, will get married and, they go and get new cars and they buy a house and they're taking great vacation. They're just living their newlywed life. But you guys are like, no, we're going to pay off 6 figures of student loan debt.
Yep.
Okay, so what was the hardest part of that? And what was the part that would maybe is the glimmer of hope for newlyweds out there that are like, no, I would do it now versus later?
Well, we were making more money than we've ever made in our entire lives, so I guess that made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But communication was definitely key for us going into it. I'm definitely the free spirit. He's the nerd. He's got all the numbers. So just two different minds kind of coming together, and just, I don't know, communication has been, I feel like, the biggest thing.
Yeah, for me the hardest part was the emotion tied to it. Once we became married and it was like sitting down, putting all the numbers together, it finally connected emotionally with me and spiritually with ourselves, and then we were just game on at that point.
Okay, so your roommate introduced you at your freshman year, but you said, nah. So how did you connect back up to us at this proper moment after marriage and go, okay, I remember that crazy guy Ramsey, or what was the deal? I mean, how'd you reconnect?
Yeah, so, I mean, I never really left Ramsey. I would listen to the podcast and everything, and so as a newly married couple, we didn't really have financial habits, so we just stuck with the plan before we could make any bad habits.
Started a plan.
Yeah, we started it.
And we also did Financial Peace University through our church online, which definitely helped me with the process.
Yeah, you got to catch up on what he had been learning.
Exactly.
Not doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good. Very good. Very good. Cool. All right. So this is pretty intense. I mean, you guys got after it for 2 years. You've been on beans and rice. There's not a lot of room in this budget.
Nope.
I mean, who made fun of you?
A little bit from all of our families, a little bit. But,
oh, yeah. It was all good harassing, right?
Yeah.
They thought you'd lost your mind and joined a cult.
Yeah.
And what was it? What did they think that y'all were like? What would be the jabs? Was it like, oh, you're not going out to eat? Guys, enjoy life. Y'all are too serious. Like, what was the?
Yeah, it was little stuff like that. I remember sitting around the campfire and his brother-in-law, you guys always talk about your broke brother-in-law, talking about something about credit cards and going overseas, and I was like, gosh dang it, Jacob, what are we doing?
We're sticking to the plan. That's what we're doing.
Sticking to the plan. That's
We're
great.
not following him.
That's awesome.
No, we love them. We love all our family. They've been really supportive throughout all of this.
For sure.
Even though they give us a couple of jabs here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's kind of like motivation, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like, well, watch this. Watch my dust.
Yeah.
I like it. Well done, y'all. Okay, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I would just say discipline, knowing your why in all of it. Like,
What was your why?
I feel like, being able to build wealth and leave a legacy for our family going forward, like whenever we have kids, and be able to live and give like nobody else, and be able to have it be God's glory. And I feel like that's my big motivation with all of it.
Yeah.
And just staying committed. Like I said, having communication with each other is really key in marriage.
Yep. I kind of have two thought processes. First, any high school age students that are forced to listen by their parents or willingly to listening right now, please know that student loans are not free money. they do cost you interest, time, and stress and stuff. So
2 years of your life.
2 years of our lives.
Yes.
Please just avoid it and not have it in your life. And secondly, just like I think the previous debt-free screamer said, that just believe that there is another option out there of living and that you can do it, but please commit yourself to it.
It's good. That's so good. Well, you guys, you did it. So how does it feel? How does it feel to finally have no student loan debt?
It feels good to see the bank account start growing a little bit
Yeah.
with the emergency fund.
Yeah, be able to keep that money.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
She says she's more motivated to work now since we get to keep it.
I get that.
I don't argue that a bit. It's like, oh, wait, that's mine. Yeah.
I get to spend and enjoy. Yeah. That's
Very
awesome,
cool.
you guys.
Good
Congratulations.
job, you guys. We're
Thank
very,
you.
very proud of you. Good work. Good work. Hey, we got another copy or another membership to Financial Peace University.
Give it to your brother-in-law.
Yeah. I know a guy that needs that. And Baby Steps Millionaires for you guys. This is the next chapter in your story. Like you said, you can go on and build wealth and live like no one else and give like no one else. This is our latest #1 around here. And, of course, the Total Money Makeover book, and you can use that to bonk somebody on the head with, as someone said earlier. It's not a bad thing to use. So help somebody get started on the whole process and everything that you've learned. So we're very, very proud of you. You're an impressive young couple. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good work, good work, good work. Jacob and Jenna, don't you wish you had started your marriage this way out there in America? Yes. $106,000 paid off in 25 and a half months, the first 2 years of marriage, making 81 to 126. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're
debt-free. Yeah! That is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. You know, when I first started teaching this stuff 30 years ago, that's the thing that always came up. Well, I wish I'd learned this when I was young. I wish I'd learned this when I was young. And it is really beautiful to see a couple in their 20s, in their first 2 years of marriage, come in here and do this. And the 19-year-old on YouTube that's watching and doing this stuff. And that's just, man, there's so many dollars involved of where that's going to take someone. How you've got all those decades in front of you to go do amazing things with money. It can be done at any age.
That's right.
But man, oh man, when you do it at this age, you got to woo. It's
the compound. I mean, we were talking about compound interest in another segment, but I'm like, it's true. The earlier you start, and man, when they're able to just put money away, they're gonna be able to give like crazy.
Yep.
Because they're gonna have the income. They're going to invest this early on in life, which is incredible. Buy a home, pay, I mean, all of it. It's just, you get a jump start. So, and it was them that decided it. That's the thing too, is you wake up one day and say, we have 6 figures of student loan debt. We're going to take care of this.
It's a hockey stick life. Up and to the right, baby. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 1 Corinthians 16, 13 through 14. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, do everything in love. Queen Elizabeth II passed. Our condolences, rest in peace to the royal family. Oh my goodness, what a lady. She said, "It has always been easy to hate and destroy. To build and to cherish is much more difficult." Very true. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. With free samples, free shipping, and new promos they run all the time, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Cindy in California. If you donate to charities like animal rescues, local fire, police, and rescue departments, pro-life pregnancy centers, neighborhood schools, and mission trips, and uniforms for a Little League team, are these things tithing? Or does it only count if you give to a church or religious organizations? It feels so good to help and show thanks for the work people do, but we would like to know where this falls in our monthly giving. Yeah, that's a great question, Cindy. I mean, the technical term for the tithe is giving a tenth, and specifically to your local church. So if you want to get legalistic about it with direct phrases and direct terms, that is what the tithe is. So technically, donating to a little league team is not a technical tithe. But if you just want to say, hey, we want to give 10% as a family, and we're going to give that to these things, and that's going to be our giving for the month, then that's totally up to you. But for me personally, in our family, as an evangelical Christian, we tithe, and then anything above the tithe that we give to these things that you've listed, or other things that we're passionate about, we give above the tithe. But we personally give that 10% to the local, to the church that we attend. But again, if that's not your conviction or your spiritual walk, giving in any capacity is something that we recommend, because you experience this level of selfishness in our world, right? That everything is focused on me. And when you give and open your hands, there is a selflessness that's created. And so that's the goal in all of this, to know that, hey, we're opening our hands. We are not holding and hoarding money, and we're letting money flow. And regardless of where we are financially, giving is going to be part of our story. And so how you do that really comes to your own personal values and personal convictions.
Yeah. So when you say tithe, if you just mean generosity and you're not a person of a certain faith, then this is perfectly fine. If you just are substituting the word tithe for generous, and it happens to be 10% of your income that you're being generous from. But the tithe is a religious term, technically, and it would apply to primarily evangelical Christians observe the tithe, and Orthodox Jews. And so, and in both cases, we're following scriptures that give us an indication that it's Old Testament indications that the tithe goes to the storehouse, and the storehouse in the Old Testament had two primary goals, and that was to feed the widows and orphans, and to feed the Levites, which were the pastors, the priests. And so that's your local church, and that's where that teaching comes from, and why evangelical Christians and why Orthodox Jews of most ilks, there's certainly nuance, that give a tenth of their income, but never even properly observed within those religions. It shouldn't be legalistic. It shouldn't be like God loves you because you tithe, or he hates you because you don't. That's just not true. There's nowhere in Scripture that says that. But there is a lot of Scripture that talks about giving and about generosity and about tithing, and it's because of what Rachel was talking about. God is trying to teach us to be less selfish and more other-centered, and giving does that. It shifts you, it changes your character. And that's why giving people who are generous have a tendency to prosper, because they end up having an other-centered character, and they're very attractive in that regard. But we don't ever want to get real technical, but the technical, if you're going to do a Bible study on it because you go to a church, an evangelical church, then that's what you would probably hear, and I would agree with. But I don't impose that on, say, my Muslim friends. Tithe is not in the Quran that I know of, unless one of you Muslim friends wants to teach me about it. But I've had a lot of fun discussions with you, and I don't think it covers that. The Quran hates debt. I do know that, big time, and usury, big time. But I don't think there's a tithing mandate there. But so anyway, what that amounts to is are you defining that as generosity, and 10% of my income is just going to generosity, and I'm not a person of faith that is a church attender or a synagogue attender, then yeah, that's perfectly fine. What you're doing is great.
Yeah.
Giving is, you're never gonna, I won't say never, but seldom are you going to be generous and look back on it and regret it. The only time you regret it is if you figure out you gave to something you got scammed. But
yeah,
and I've had that happen. But they didn't really have a need, did they? Yeah, well, yeah, that's different. But that means I got some work to do in my giving process. But by and large, yeah, it does feel good to help and show thanks for the work people do. I agree with you, Cindy, and we want to encourage you to do that. The very first line on your budget sheet in every dollar, or if you get the old sheets out of the backs of the books I've written over the last 30 years, there's always budget sheets in there. The very first line is always giving. It's always generosity. It's always charity. It's always a line like that. So the very first thing you should do in your budget is to allocate some money to give. Because for a Christian, tithing is off the top. It's first fruits before you do anything else. And that's just the tithe to your local church. Now, that's a great discussion, though. So you just got to kind of interpret what she meant in the email and where she's coming from exactly. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Colton is with us. Colton is in Spokane, Washington. Hi, Colton. What's up?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Rachel. How you doing?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
So I'm calling. My wife and I are almost to baby step 3. We are just a couple $1,000s left to pay off, and I just accepted a new job in Tennessee. So my company is going to reimburse me for my move, but we currently don't have the money to make the move. They're not going to actually give me the reimbursement until a week or two after I get there. So
have you asked them to advance it because you don't have the money?
Yeah, we talked about that, and they said that there was, with the policy, I work for the government, and they just, whatever the policy that they had in place, they weren't going to authorize that for me.
Okay, so what have you got to move?
We have a 4-bedroom house and 2 vehicles, which we'll end up probably just driving ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then our 5 kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you put them in the vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so you've got some furniture
the house.
You got some furniture to move out of a 4-bedroom house.
We have some furniture to move, and we have a pretty good deal with moving company already. We have that in place. I feel like it'll be cheaper than like a U-Haul or a U-Pack kind of deal. So that just leaves basically food,
How much?
Gas, and what's that?
How much does it cost
for the movers?
Yeah.
See, the quote that we got was about $4,500.
And you got the money, you said?
Yeah, we have the money. We have the money for, or we paid half of that a few months ago. We booked it in advance, and then we don't have the remaining. But I don't think that we don't owe that until after we get there.
Until after you get to Tennessee, or after you get the reimbursement?
Until after, yeah. Once we get to Tennessee, like we'll get a bill for the remaining. So that part is fine.
Okay. I mean, I'd sell a bunch of stuff is what I'd do, and then I'd go work like extra. All you need is gas to drive some cars to Tennessee, dude. You're there. You can do it. It sounds like
$2,000 for the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean, go deliver pizzas for the next 3 weeks like a crazy man, and have the world's largest garage sale, and that'll lower your move bill too, because don't move a bunch of this crap all the way across the country. It isn't worth the cost to move it, most of it. So that's true of most of our houses. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Dave here. We just launched a brand new audience survey for the Ramsey Show, and we'd love your feedback. You could be entered to win a $500 Visa gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey.